All right, welcome everyone. I hope you're enjoying the conference to this point. Today we're going to talk about MDR and specifically BlueVoyant. I'm Jason Bork, Technology Advisor here at C3. Let me see here. Yeah, well, today's session we're going to focus on managed detection and response, some components of Microsoft Security, the Microsoft Security Stack, SOC services, and why companies are looking to BlueVoyant as a trusted partner in this space. Originally, we had scheduled a representative from BlueVoyant to be with us here today, Logan. Unfortunately, got stranded in O'Hare Airport last night, and he's not able to join us today. So Logan will not be joining us. But luckily, we do have two panelists here who have graciously offered to volunteer their time. They are current clients and partners with BlueVoyant today, and they're going to share some experiences on working with the BlueVoyant team. With that said, I'm going to let you two go through introductions. Maria, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'd be happy to start. I'm Maria Haight. I'm the Global Information Security Officer at Joyson Safety Systems, which is a safety product supplier to the OEMs. I've actually been in this role only about 8 months, even shy of that. So there's been a lot of lessons learned about the company and what we have in place. But I can't wait to tell you about the BlueVoyant story.
There we go. Scott.
Great. I'm Scott Loney. I'm the Director of IT Infrastructure and Operations with Electrical Components International. It's a mouthful. ECI for short. I've been with them for about 4 years. Came away with an acquisition from a company in Montreal. And now I'm with the headquarters in Southfield, outside of Detroit.
Thank you. And ECI, Global Electronic Components Supplier, 35 locations.
45 to 20,000 employees.
All right, so before we jump in, I'm going to do a little overview on BlueVoyant, tell you some fun facts about the company, and then we'll jump into our Q&A session. Let me see here. So BlueVoyant was founded in 2017 with a clear mission to help organizations stay ahead of today's constantly changing cyber security threats. They won the 2024 Microsoft Worldwide Security Partner of the Year Award. They were also named Microsoft U.S. Security Partner of the Year in 2022 and 2024, and 2024 Microsoft Canada Security Partner of the Year. So they've won some awards. And apologies for reading this to you. We had to make some last-minute changes with Logan not joining us today. BlueVoyant services cover everything from 24/7 managed detection and response to digital risk protection, threat intelligence, and specialized support for Microsoft security environments. The company was founded and is led by people who have spent their careers on the front lines of cybersecurity, including former intelligence and law enforcement leaders. One of their senior executives, Mylan Patel, served as the Chief Technology Officer for the FBI's Cyber Division before joining BlueVoyant. That kind of real-world experience shows up in how they approach their clients, not just reacting to threats, but helping organizations build stronger and more proactive defenses. We had the opportunity to actually have dinner with the BlueVoyant team and Mylan about a month ago, and it was a very impressive experience. He has a wealth of knowledge, all of his experience at the FBI. He was explaining to us how he's really brought that over to BlueVoyant and kept those real-world considerations in mind. All right, we will dip into the Q&A session. So Maria, I understand you're just starting your MDR journey today, and this is a big shift for Joyson,
Yes.
right? Today you use Microsoft Defender for endpoint, you use Microsoft Sentinel for SIEM. Can you tell us why you're deciding to move to an MDR strategy, and maybe a little bit about how you landed on BlueVoyant as your partner?
Yeah, absolutely. So we didn't first go looking for MDR. I'm going to be very transparent about that. Being a very heavy Microsoft shop, we did have a problem that we needed to remedy, and that is some improvements in our SIEM, which is a Microsoft Sentinel instance. We were not retaining our logs as long as we should have per auditor request, and I would say based upon best practice as well. So we wanted to do that, extend the retention time frame. We still had some data sources we were not collecting yet in the SIEM, and I wanted to do some optimization around this, right? you pay as you go for these things, right? The more you bring in, the more you pay. And so there's got to be some intelligence that we could optimize and get more juice right out of that fruit before we just bring everything in. I'm also have an internal SOC team that we source through our company that's out of India. And so I think about those SOC analysts and all the noise that they get from everything coming from the SIM. So we went to our friends at Microsoft, and they brought forth BlueVoyant. And the more we spent time talking about their approach, what they had available, which could lead us to an MDR strategy, we said, great, but let's solve the first problem. And that was one of the key things for me that I really realized I had the right partner, is that they weren't trying to sell me down the road. Like, let's solve this for you first. This is obviously the biggest need that you have right now. I had a time frame in which I needed to show remediation and fix on that audit issue. And so that's where we're at right now. We are standing up a new instance of a SIM in a more cost-effective location. We are getting all our log sources repointed to the new instance and using their log optimization capabilities to show a lot of cost improvement. So ultimately, through these moves, we are expecting to see, which I think I'll be able to realize more in January, between 30 to 40% cost reduction. In my industry, automotive, that speaks volumes. And so not only am I getting what I needed from an audit perspective, but I'm also getting some cost effectiveness out of it as well. We are already looking at them at a phase 2 approach as well, Joyson, which is having them come in and manage our Defender and our Sentinel SIM. Why? I'll be honest, I think Microsoft tools are difficult and they change all the time. And I think it's hard to find skill sets internally that truly are versed well enough to manage some of those products well. And so this is going to be step 2 or phase 2 of us in our path with BlueVoyant, to then the third final step would be a true MDR solution. So we're biting off pieces as we go. Gives time for them to test us out, us to test them out, and make sure that this is going to be the right fit. But you mentioned Milan, and I would say, it's one of the key components of this is this team is great. And sometimes you get, right, the A team in the sales pitch, and you get the C team in the implementation pitch. And I said to Milan from the get-go, you got to get me a win here. I need the A team all the way through, and it has been, to date, the A team all the way through at Milan, putting his own time into discussions with us to really listen and hear the pain points that we were up against. And that's what we all need at the end of the day, right? That's the type of partnership we all need. Don't just sell me something, sell me that solves my problems.
Yeah, Milan was very impressive, right, with that background at the FBI. Also, partnering with you, doing more of a crawl, walk, run approach versus trying to push, we'll just do one big shift and, light switch. I like that as well. That isn't that high pressure sales pitch, right? Scott, you recently onboarded with BlueVoyant as your MDR
Correct,
provider, and this is a replacement, right, of a previous MDR provider. So this is 2 that you've worked with. I believe yesterday was your
we went live
day,
yesterday, yes.
right? So I want to ask you about, how has your MDR strategy shifted over time? You were with one organization, you decided to leave them, partner with BlueVoyant. Can you tell us a little bit why the shift, why the change?
Yeah, absolutely. Budget is always a big thing. I'm sure you all deal with this. That was our driver. We had no real cybersecurity at the company when I joined, which, trying to get approval for a SIM was impossible. I was able to hide it within my Azure spend by just spinning up Sentinel. It was a team of 2 that did all the configuration. We were just learning as we go. For about 2 years, we were monitoring it ourselves, which is a handful if you've ever gotten Sentinel alerts. That was when I started approaching MDRs, and I met with BlueVoyant 2 years ago, and they were my top preferred partner, but I wasn't able to go with them. Just budgetary concerns, private equity, a lot of different things. So we ended up going with the provider that we dropped today at 11 a.m. I wasn't on the call, unfortunately, you being here. The experience I had spinning that up with them, they sort of took over the instance that we created, which I'm going to admit, probably not set up to best practices. We didn't really know what we were doing. We're getting something new in place. They lighthoused in and took it over, dumped a bunch of playbooks and automation, and that was it. They covered us well. I have no complaints, but onboarding with BlueVoyant is just night and day. we met through these roadmaps that they developed, analyzing all of our settings. I mean, the amount of work we put into policies, even like group policies on Active Directory to configure auditing correctly, things that I didn't even realize we didn't go through last time. It was very impressive, and the team, like she said, there are a lot of Canadians too, which I feel like they might have paired them with me because I'm Canadian, but amazing team at BlueVoyant. All the attack surface reduction policies, the defender policies that didn't even exist 4 years ago when we configured our baselines. I mean, we went through one by one, everything set to best practices, all the configuration. We did an entirely separate instance of Sentinel while the other one was still running connected to our other partner. I mean, we had everything down to dates that the day we would start ingesting and incurring cost. I mean, it couldn't have been smoother. We did it in a quick timeline, 1 month. I mean, I had to end ties on the 17th, which is Monday next week. We did it a few days early. It's very impressive. It was a good journey.
And you're about a month from project kickoff to go live.
Yep.
Right? Same production.
Whole new instance, all the configuration. I mean, my team, we did a lot of work, configuration changes and testing, rolling it out through device groups slowly as we're configuring things that were never turned on, which I'm sure you all love doing that in production. So.
Well, and BlueVoyant's bringing their playbook to you, saying, "Hey, don't forget this setting. Hey, did you look at that setting? Your previous MDR provider that wasn't part of the
in their
onboarding,
project
right?"
plan. They have it down to what effect it may have on our systems. Like this setting will potentially do this. I mean, they have the entire roadmap laid out for us. It's amazing.
So, real quick follow-up question on that one: who paid for it?
Oh yeah, BlueVoyant was able to get Microsoft to pay for everything. It was phenomenal. I mean, like I said, budget concerns all the time. We got $60,000 of funding for this overhaul of our systems, everything. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Free
jump
money.
in.
That was, yeah. They have access and know when there's funding available at Microsoft. Sometimes it's the timing. It's when you're doing your project, they're able to do it. We got it, like they weren't sure if they could get it fully funded. And of course, it came in at $0, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, tap into your Microsoft partner
Yeah.
for your spend that you have each year across whatever you're doing with them. That does turn into partnership dollars, yeah.
Yeah, and BlueVoyant carries some weight with
Oh, yeah.
with Microsoft, right? So that's a great resource to lean on, and obviously, get those economies of scale, right? All right, Maria, you're only a few months into your project with BlueVoyant.
Yep.
What insights have you gained, or what have you really enjoyed about working with them compared to other MDR providers?
Yeah, so let's talk about that A team again. I mentioned that I have an internal SOC team. I think I did. If I didn't, okay. And they were the ones that have been trying to manage the SIM for us. But they're learning as they go. There's no shyness that I'm going to say about that. They're learning. Whereas when BlueVoyant came in, they started pointing to us directly each data source, how to best get that into the SIM, which I think we did probably much more incredibly hard on our own previously. And they're also bringing in optimization questions to us, much to like what Scott said, like, here's the playbook, here's what we suggest here, and here's why. You may want to do something else, but this is just at least our recommendation. Well, we were starting with no recommendation before. We were just flipping stuff on to flip stuff on, right? So that's wonderful to have that knowledge expert sitting next to you. I would say project management, even, and organizational. Every meeting, there's an agenda, there's a project plan, do I get notes afterwards? These are things sometimes with certain implementations I've had to beg for. And so it's wonderful that they are, that well organized and they have staff ready to roll. So we're learning just even by watching them through this. And probably my SOC team is just crying in a corner somewhere that what took weeks for them to potentially do in the old system, we're now doing in minutes because we have the right partner showing us how to use the tool.
Yeah, we've got the brain trust,
Yeah.
right? We're going to enable your team, and when they need help, hey, we got the A team, right?
Exactly.
Scott, let's see here. So you're also leveraging BlueVoyant SOC services,
Yes.
right? can you tell us a little bit about that process from onboarding with the SOC, and what has your experience been to this point? Because I know you just went live,
Yeah.
but we've already
We've had
had.
two escalations so far.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
days. So it's, again, things you don't realize you missed out on other setups and implementations. I mean, it's a lot of documentation to fill out, but I mean, the constant the documentation that you're filling out of all our trusted IPs, administrators that can do certain activities, that is going to real fine tune our escalations is great. There's the call paths and what we're willing to let them do on our behalf, all very granular and fine that we didn't have with our other provider. It was just basically an email alert system is all I was paying for, which, it's not the greatest. It's, like I said, we don't have too much time with them. It's our second day. We've had two escalations, one malware in China. I don't know, it's pretty normal. So, yeah, it's going well so far.
All right, glad to hear it. Now, a couple of things. We only have about 4 minutes left. This ends at 2:30?
2:40, I think.
Is it 2:40 or 2:30? I apologize.
It says 2:40 in the.
Okay, so we have some time. Let me see here. So, Maria,
Yeah.
I feel like this third question is almost a little bit redundant because it's talking about the partnership with BlueVoyant. I want to ask you, or open it up to you. What are you looking forward to the most once you're further down this MDR journey? What's your kind of long-term strategy, long-term vision?
Yeah. I'd like to do a little explaining to my technical friends in the audience here. Maybe you reacted or didn't react when I said Microsoft tools are hard to manage, right? They are. Let's just be honest. They are, and they change constantly. And you can have even Microsoft on the phone, and they're walking you through how to do something like, oh, that changed, since last week. And so, that lack of knowledge is there. Yes, I'm a Microsoft shop today. And yes, my plan right now, certainly being new to the company, is that I'm going to exasperate everything I can out of the Microsoft platform with my E3 and E5 licenses, and then be able to go to leadership and say, it's still not good enough. I know that already. You probably know that already, but I have to show that we've used the tools that we're already paying through very expensive licensing and get everything I can out of it, and then show the gaps and bring forth, supplemental solutions. People have heard me say, so I'll throw it out there, I don't know that SIM has a long life in our technology world. Like, let's be honest, with AI coming out, I think you're going to have something that's not necessary for SIM to retain the logs. You've got the intelligence, probably through log optimization, other AI tools that, again, get what you need for your investigations, for your alerting, for your monitoring, and all those other log files just sit in a cold storage somewhere that can be rehydrated when necessary. And so you don't need to have that SIM do it, because here comes the AI tools. They're going to do it for us. So am I looking at other SIM solutions? No, I'm not. I have one. It's decently cost, efficient for us. We're certainly looking at better ways to optimize that. So I'm not focusing there. I'm just trying to do better with what I have for now. And, in 12 months, something, even more incredible could come out that we now know this is the direction we want to go into. So, sometimes I've been challenged around that, well, why are you sticking with Microsoft? It's what I have, guys. It's what I'm paying for already. So I better use it to the fullest advantage.
And it just makes sense with Sentinel, like Microsoft and Microsoft ingestion being free, and the optimization of the third-party log ingestion is great. We turned on our Cato ingestion for about an hour. 20 million records just came in, and they helped fine tune the alert, the filters to get the pertinent records of the security records from Cato, and I mean it was great.
Yeah, one of the things I learned first was the Microsoft skill set, right? And the fact that, yes, they can help find Microsoft funding for projects like this. In the same vein, they can also help you tune your Sentinel to where your logging is not consuming nearly as much as it was. So is Microsoft helping with the commercials, right? From a financial standpoint, your storage requirements are kind of going down by having BlueVoyant in there. So Microsoft's making less money, but BlueVoyant's helping with it. So it's a little circular.
It's
But
staying up to date with Microsoft's updates and changes within platforms. I don't know where they're posting it, how you're supposed to find out, but 4 years ago, ASR and Defender rules were part of the regular baseline policies. Now, those are small little sections in there, and they've been entire categories of policies have been created for those. So just fine tuning all those, disabling, shutting down what was running in the old policies. I mean, the optimization and work that they did is great.
I'm sorry Logan's not here, so some of you may want to follow up on this if there's interest, because I will not do it justice. But BlueVoyant has come out with something called ADX, which I do believe is their data lake solution, so that if you do need a more cost-effective place for log file management or storage, that's out there. I haven't gotten to a tier level yet of file size to necessarily warrant going there yet, but I will certainly be watching that.
It's the 90 days free in Sentinel right now, so yeah, we don't pay much for ours. It's great.
all right, so we've got about 9 minutes left here. I want to open it up. Does anyone have any questions or topics you'd like us to speak towards?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
What can't Microsoft deliver you?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean,
Yeah, I'll hit that.
pretty confident they can deliver a lot of it, but is there anything they can't
Yeah.
in your business today?
Yeah. I would tell you right now, one of the biggest areas of interest to me is a proper CASB. And I would say the Defender for Cloud Apps isn't good enough. It's not even strong enough for all the platforms out there, let alone, I think, the UI to set it up right, to really know that you're blocking. I think you're taking a shot in the dark. So I actually, sorry, side not about BlueVoyant, but another Microsoft partner who we did get some funding for, is helping us at least take our Defender for Cloud Apps a little bit more mature than what we have to date. But I know it will not be as much. That is one area I see myself next year asking for some supplement for around.
What's your percentage on-prem versus cloud?
We are mostly on-prem. We're probably about 70-30.
Appreciate the questions, Chris.
There's a CASB opportunity. Probably talk to Nestor about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
Appreciate the interaction there, Chris. Any other questions from the group? Go ahead, Joe.
So, from your SIM data sources, is there anything that you excluded, and did BlueVoyant help, guide you to anything in particular, saying, hey, here's some stuff you probably don't need to bring in, or if you had to pick between a particularly noisy log source versus one that just understanding cost, especially like you said from Sentinel, that it can get expensive if you let it. To help kind of dial it down, and then from that risk that potentially could be there, how are you guys managing around that?
It's a great question. It's actually something I'm expecting to learn in the next, by probably 2 to 3 weeks. We just finished with all the Microsoft data coming through. We're now going through all the non-Microsoft data. And so I knew what my cost was for most of those data sources, but there was a couple that we had not brought in yet. So we're going to see from that. One of them is SAP. And so I want to start with just SAP admin activities. Let's see what that looks like first before we go any further, because that could flood me real fast, right? And then another one that I'm looking at is our bit site. We were doing some of that manually, or like to automate that in. So there are a couple of sources that I don't have a feel for yet because we hadn't in our, I'll say existing, not the new one, but the existing. And that is exactly what they're doing with us. They're looking as we turn on each of these into the new environment, what can we turn down? They make those recommendations right up front, which is great, but nothing that we've gotten to yet that we said, not worth it, or scale back really, really hard. But SAP could be the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, we had 3 external log sources and one that we never turned on, which was Cato, for the reason that I said before, which is now feeding in with the optimization that they put. We were lucky enough that everything we were ingesting was able to be done through API. We didn't need any syslog servers, anything. And they were able to dial it back to really the pertinent logs that we needed. And again, our ingestion's not nothing crazy.
Any other questions? So I'll start to wrap up here. And actually, before I do, is there anything else either of you want to add or make sure that
I'll add
we talk about?
for their SOC service, their portal. I mean, it's an impressive portal considering I didn't have a portal with the previous MDR service. All the escalation notes, anything done by the SOC team, links directly to our alerts and incidents. Everything updates back and forth. I mean, it's a really well thought out platform.
Seems like you're a lot happier with this compared to the previous.
Well, I didn't know
experience,
that I
right?
was unhappy until I got with BlueVoyant.
I appreciate that. Maria, is there anything you want to add, or are you good?
No, I don't think so, but I would just say, grab my name. If you ever want to talk and hear more about the experience, that's what these are all about for me, because I will hunt you all down when I hear you talk about something I'm interested in. So just throwing that out there.
Well, thank you both. I really appreciate you guys making time for this. I do want to highlight one thing from a C3 standpoint. We really, really pride ourselves on being agnostic advisors. And I understand that this session can come across as us being homers for one vendor over others. And that's not our job. Is to be that agnostic advisor. It is also our job to highlight strong technologies, strong vendors when we come across them. Companies that are moving the needle and making a difference. If I'm not telling you about them, if C3 isn't, we're not really doing our job, right? So just want to kind of clear the air a little bit on that. The other thing is, I know in the title here we had third-party risk management called out, and I apologize that we did not cover any of that today. BlueVoyant has a very strong DRPA solution. Think of your domain names being spoofed on the internet. They are constantly searching for those and making sure that your domains are protected. They also speak more about downstream suppliers and threats that when they're having outages, or how are they operating as an organization, how might that impact your organization, and getting that visibility, right? Logan was going to cover that part of the talk track, so apologies, we had to skip it today. With that said, we're at time, and I really appreciate you guys joining us today, so thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.